Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a book which is in a series of books from Europe, from Intersentia. I'm going to review a number of titles in the range, but this book took my attention quite quickly. The title of the book is Europe at the Edge of Pluralism, and it's been edited by two people, and I do apologise in advance for pronunciations, Dorota Gozdeka and Magdalena Kamak. As I've indicated, the book is from Intersentia Publishing Limited. I've given the title of our review for this work, Europe at the Edge of Pluralism, this time, The Arrival at Another Continental Crossroads as Europe Faces New Legal and Political Change. Let's look at the book first of all. It's a paperback, only a small one. Let's say it's in a series of books from the EUS Commune Europeum. Again, a bad pronunciation by me. There's the spine, there's the back of the book. This is actually number 134 in the series, which you can just vaguely see. Let's look at the book first of all. You can see how it's structured. There's a bit about the organisation at the back, right at the back. Then you do have some information concerning the bibliography that has been used by the editors, and then you go into the actual text itself. You do have lots of footnoting, which is very helpful. There are subheads. It's not the easiest book in the world to read, I have to say, but I did find it very, very interesting. Then at the back of the main chapters you have a bibliography, and you do actually have useful conclusions running through, which I do find quite helpful. The front of the book there's the front page there. Then you've got the actual detail, the various parts that are structured. You can see that it lists who's written what as well. A lot of detail. It's not numbered. That's one thing that's a bit confusing. It's not actually numbered the way you might want it to be. But part 3 again has it's just split into the parts, but there's no actual numbering. So it's slightly more difficult to find what you may be looking for. I like the introduction, which is worth reading. They both start off by saying, in May 2000, the European Parliament announced a new motto for Europe, Unity in Diversity. The motto was followed by the Commission's explanation that, via the EU, Europeans are united in working together for peace and prosperity, and that the many different cultures and traditions and languages in Europe are a positive asset for the continent. Absolutely right, and that's where we start off. So do have a look at the book itself after the introduction, which is not particularly long, but it does set the picture. You go straight into part 1, law, diversity and pluralism, which of course is explained, and it lists who the authors are of the various particular chapters. Now, having said that, whenever you get any publication which has been translated, and I'll mention this at the end of the review, there are going to be some problems with the type of language used. As I've said, with quite a lot of works emanating from Europe, because there is a translation requirement, sometimes it's not the easiest words, they're not the easiest words to follow. But I think the general picture is painted very well indeed. Certainly it is here, because as I say, we're at a bit of a continental crossroads. And it's 15 years ago since the EU made the statement I referred to in the introduction. So let me talk about what the book contains. And it's taken really from what's actually the easiest explanation in the publicity material. Because what it is, it looks at contemporary problems of legal accommodation, of diversity in Europe, and recent developments in the area of diverse European legal regimes. Because the one thing that is becoming clear is that we are going to move much more towards some form of standardisation. It won't take away the concept of the member states and their national identities, and there's always a worry that they may do that, but because we have the greatest system in the world in England and Wales called the common law, and the fact is that you because you have these diverse legal regimes, what we're going to try to do is to make sure we get the best of all of the regimes. That means a bit of give and take. Of course you won't get it, but at least you can try. And the point is that that's where we're moving. That's why Europe's on an edge, if you like, and that's the purpose of the book. Despite professing the motto unity is diversity then, Europe appears to be struggling with discord rather than unity at the moment. Legal discussions reflect a crisis when it comes to matters of migration, which is, as I record this, a major problem on the news every day, certainly with people coming into Europe displaced mainly from Syria and other war-torn regions of the planet. It also deals with the accommodation of minorities. We have the Roma issue, of course, which is dealt with in Hungary, particularly, and other countries, dealing with the growing heterogeneity of European society. And the book actually throughout illustrates that the current legal conundrums stem from what is described, and these are taken from the book itself, European oscillation between, on the one hand, acknowledging the need of accommodation, on the other, the tendencies to preserve existing legal traditions. And the book claims, and the authors then claim, that these opposite tendencies have led Europe to the edge of pluralism. And this edge, which is described, is just as with linguistic interpretation of the word edge, carries multiple meanings, conveying a plethora of problems encountered by law when dealing with diversity. Because in essence, we're all aware today, certainly in the United Kingdom, and I'm sure elsewhere, of the need for having mechanisms to deal with diversity and making sure it raises its profile to such an extent that it is treated seriously. So what the book does, it explores and illustrates these multiple edges of pluralism, tracing back their origins and examining the contemporary legal conundrums that have led to it. Europe, of course, at the edge of pluralism, encourages readers to explore whether there are fundamental problems with approaches to diversity or not. I have to say, to some people there are, and of course that in itself is a bit of a problem. And therefore, if there are, can they be rescued from the current precarious position? The answer is yes, I think it could. It asks then whether Europe at the edge is truly capable of uniting in diversity and developing a constructive approach to its growing pluralism. And this, as I indicate, is part of the series of books, volume 134. It's another successful title in a series of books from Intersentia, which we welcome. They're devoted to the common foundations of the European legal system, and the publishers have brought together this Ius Commune Europaeum series to include comparative legal studies as well as studies on the effect of treaties within member states' legal systems. Let me just conclude by saying readers will be pleased to know that the books are published in various European languages under the auspices of METRO, the Institute for Transnational Legal Research at Maastricht University. And they've been very well translated here in my view, because I know it's a difficult task. But we did find them reasonably easy to read, and a great contribution to the continuing debate on where we're going at this particular crossroads as the 21st century unfolds and develops. So I'd like to thank the editors and all the people involved in producing this book, because I do think it's a valuable statement and commentary on where we are today. There it is, it's volume 134. That's the actual information, a detail at the back, some of which I've taken for the review itself. And then when we look into it, you can see that there is a lot of very, very detailed information. For instance, one of the editors writes one chapter, Subjectivity Trap, it's titled here, Genuine Refugee versus Bogus Asylum Seeker. See, we are dealing with very serious, major problems which the European Union and the West are going to have to face. And it's no good hiding away from it, because in fact, it's, as I record this, we are facing a major problem within Europe and the borders at the moment. There's the contents again, not numbered, but you will find what you're looking for quite easily, I think. It's not difficult. There isn't an index as such at the back, which again is a problem. That would have been nice to have. But it runs to 200 pages. It's a great commentary, so thank you to all concerned. I found it interesting, and I'm going to review some of the other books in the series as well. So thank you to all. Bye-bye.